month's masterclass is on blogs. And I know what you're thinking. I really need another thing to do, and blogs really sound like a lot of work. But there are some things about blogs that really actually save you a lot of work. They're a great way to preserve your intellectual capital. They're a great way to leverage a lot of the files that are already on your computer. A lot of articles, white papers, case studies, press releases, PowerPoint presentations, all kinds of things that could be out there getting customers for you if they weren't locked up in your computer somewhere, just needing to be updated and released to people who would be interested in hearing about them. Some people have a negative idea about blogs. I like to think of them the way I think about cable TV. There are shows about how to make a rubber band on cable TV. You may have noticed some of those. They appeal to a fairly narrow audience, but it's the same thing with blogs. If you are a very specialized company that produces a very specialized product or service, there are people who are very interested in what you do, and there are people who won't be. But a blog really allows you to kind of create your own channel where people can find you that are interested in that topic. So what we'll talk about in this session are why you would want to write a blog. We'll talk about 32 of the great blogs in aviation. We will talk about how a blog can fit into the parts of your marketing plan and how to automate those for prospecting, for follow-up, for recapture and repeat sales and things like that. We'll talk about whether you should blog or write blog articles as an individual, or whether you should write blog articles that represent your company, and we'll show you some examples of both of those approaches. We'll talk about how you come up with good article ideas. There's always interesting things that you can write about your product or service or your customers. We'll talk about creating and using an editorial calendar and how to tie into some of the other publications in aviation that publish editorial calendars so that you are tying into those and maybe getting some additional publicity. We'll talk about outsourcing some of the researching for your articles or ghostwriting to make that easier and make your time more effective. And we'll talk about the mechanics, the look and feel, of course, things that are effective, things that are not so effective. And we'll talk about connecting your blog with other social media. How to publish an article from your blog to Twitter, or from your blog to Facebook, or from your blog to LinkedIn, or from your blog to an email, or a printed newsletter, how to repurpose that content. So we're looking forward to it. Let's dig in. Welcome to the Aviation Marketing Masterclass, How to Use Blogs for Marketing. This is one of my favorite topics. Most people know that when a new client comes to us, one of the first things that we usually recommend is putting a blog together. And I know that causes some eyebrows to go up, but it's one of the most cost-effective ways to get a really high investment for not a lot of time and effort. And we'll show you how that works as we go forward. First of all, what is a blog? A lot of people come to us with a fairly low opinion of blogs because their experience is that they're about popular culture, reality TV, or entertainment and other types of things that aren't very substantial and aren't very useful. But a blog is just a container. It's just really a piece of software that resides on a server somewhere, the same as any other website, and it allows you to put in it whatever you want. It makes it really easy for people to publish content, and in a way that's a bad thing because a lot of people publish content that maybe shouldn't be, that don't have a lot of things that are very interesting to say. But a blog is really just dated entries in a format that's easy to update. So, I usually use WordPress, which makes it really easy for a person who is not necessarily a programmer to update pretty much anything on a website that's built in WordPress, which is a blogging platform primarily. It does other things as well, and you can build a whole website in WordPress. but the blog is the dated content and those types of entries. And we're going to go through a number of things because this is actually easier to show you than to tell you how that works. It's a lot like a telephone. You may have a telephone on your desk and it may get used for very good reasons. It may get used for, teenage conversations. It may get used for a lot of things that aren't very valuable. But the fact that it's a telephone, all it does is it gives you the capacity. Same thing with a blog. If you have a blog, you have a certain capacity to communicate with your customers, and we'll go through that as we go forward. So, why would I want one? Blogs give you the opportunity to publish frequent, regular content that's interesting or useful to your ideal customers. It publishes that information in a format that is easily found by the search engines. It's easy for people to subscribe to if they have an interest in your topic. And it also is, it's a great way to establish a relationship with people who may not be ready to buy your product yet, but they may feel comfortable with reading a few of your articles. So, it's a low investment way for people to get to know your company and for you to put some information out there. A lot of people already have quite a bit of information. They have, press releases and other stuff that they haven't been able to get on their website because of the cost or the hassle involved. Putting a blog together really gives you just an easy way to publish a lot of that information and to get that out there in a way that's indexed, easy to search, and easy for people to find. So, how blogging fits into the marketing blueprint? You've seen our blueprint diagram, and you know that blog is right in the middle at the top. It's one of the ways to help people find you, and it's really closely tied with search engine traffic and with social media connections, because people might find your content through search engines. They might find it through social media. They might find it because it's listed on your business card. They may find it because they're looking for a particular topic. So, all of those things kind of mash together. But it is a good way to find or to allow people to find you on the web. So in phase one, it's pretty obvious how it's useful. In phase two, you want to keep in touch with people in between the time when they've made their first contact with you and when they're ready to buy. So if you're publishing regular content, once a week, twice a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever the situation is, it gives you an opportunity to touch base with those people again, especially if they've subscribed to your blog. So they're staying up to date. You keep coming back to the front of their mind and back to the front of their inbox. Especially if you repurpose that content into some other format. It can be online content, published on your blog. You can use blog articles in a printed newsletter. You can use blog articles in an emailed newsletter. All of those things are ways to use blog materials and to tie that together. And then, of course, after the sale, blog articles may improve customer satisfaction because you're letting people know more about your company, more about your product. There may be other things that your product does that they don't know. They purchased it for one reason and they find out that it also does something else. So that's really helpful. And also it's a handy way for your existing customers to refer people to you. If they forward an article that a colleague may be interested in, they can say, this company just published this article on this topic and I thought you might be interested. So it encourages those referrals, which are just gold in your marketing. Okay, so as I mentioned, it's easier to show you than tell you about great blogs and, some of the best ways to see things that you want to do or that you don't want to do is to look at what other people are doing. So we're going to take a field trip and head over to the web and look at some of the great blogs in the aviation industry. So if you're seeing this slide, you're probably not a member of the Masterclass, which is a great community of some of the best marketing minds in aviation that basically we have a forum where we communicate with each other, and we also do these videos and workbooks on a particular topic once a month. So what we would continue with in this video would be a field trip to some of the great blogs in the aviation industry. We'd look at 4 places to get ideas for great articles, which is a problem for a lot of us. Sometimes it's just a struggle to come up with good material week after week and make sure that we're continuing to give our audiences and our readers really good information, especially if there's maybe nothing happening in our company that week. It's great to be able to stay engaged. The editorial calendar for aviation publications. If you know what the big guys are writing about, it's easier to coordinate with them and maybe get quoted in one of the articles that they are working on. So, we'll show you how to find their editorial schedules and how to get those connections so that you'll be able to get some articles with some really wide visibility from those really powerful publications. Ways to save time on your blog. We all need more time. Personality and tone. What is appropriate? What is engaging? How to hit that balance in your blog. Blogging mechanics, the nuts and bolts of things that you can do to make it easier and make it more effective. And connecting your blog with social media. Facebook, LinkedIn, other places to publish your blog articles to really extend your reach and maximize your investment of time in writing those articles.